Tom Aspinall. Tell the internet. Tom Aspinall is beatable, and be prepared to see his fans lose it after his highlight reel punch you in the chest. He is tall, fast, finishes fights in a matter of seconds, and now he is the current UFC heavyweight champion. But 3 men on his record prove there are cracks in the armor, and each crack teaches a way in. The first doorway belongs to Curtis Blaydes. His July 23, 2022 result wasn't a tactical masterclass, so much as an object lesson in exploiting limb stress. Aspinall's night ended after a non-contact knee injury in the opening sequence, and Blaydes didn't need artful counters since the fight stopped because the body stopped. The major weakness is to exploit his limb stress and force awkward planting moments with low-line entries and heavy calf or thigh pressure. This attack made Tom Aspinall crash on a step. The second doorway is Stuart Austin's win at Bama 21. A textbook on taking Aspinall to the mat and finishing early in Aspinall's career. Austin caught him with a heel hook, showing a clear vulnerability to quick, targeted leg attacks when Aspinall overcommits or displays limited scrambler awareness. Translate that into a game plan where you attack the feet, force single leg scrambles, and isolate the ankle or knee. In short, make him plant badly, then finish what the first door started. And if that isn't enough, you can add this last attacking technique by Łukasz Parobiec. A disqualification result, not a tactical masterclass, but it exposes another truth. Aspinall has been vulnerable to chaotic, unconventional exchanges where rules and rhythm break down. Parobiec's DQ highlights that unorthodox aggression can scramble rhythm and create openings. Beyond those results, Aspinall's strengths in elite takedown timing, brutal early power, and ultra-quick finishes means every game plan must be accurate by pressuring his lead leg, forcing prolonged exchanges, and prioritizing leg attacks, plus high-percentage top control attempts to neutralize his explosive finish rate. Train for endurance scrambles because he explodes fast, but not long, Alex Pereira. If you say Alex Pereira is untouchable, tell that to the men who already punched holes in his mystique. He is a walking highlight reel, but some defeats and near losses reveal repeatable blueprints of his weaknesses. As the present light heavyweight champion, it will take a lot of practice to bring him down. In his matchup against Magomed Ankalaev, Pereira was puzzled after feeling the first pressure. Ankalaev dethroned Pereira at UFC 313 by leaning forward with steady pressure, clinch control, and timely dirty boxing that turned all his fast attacks into slow attrition. He mixed late single-leg entries and cage walks to sap Pereira's explosiveness, then punished hesitation with a left hook that changed the whole bout. That is a classic pressure fighter stuff that neutralizes one-punch finishers by making fights long and ugly. It was clear how he trained to chain wrestle, force half steps, and keep the Brazilian from planting his feet. But Ankalaev wasn't the only fighter to bring down Pereira. In the fight that took place at Glory 78 in Rotterdam on September 4, 2021, there was a rematch between Alex Pereira and Artem Vakitov. During the rematch, Vakitov used tight clinch work and constant position changes to smother Pereira's power shots, turning a knockout artist into a volume contest, and won a majority decision. He won easily by closing the distance, clinching smart, and breaking rhythm. These tactical meat and potatoes apply to fight camp. Firstly, kill the initial 90 seconds by exerting awkward entries so Pereira can't set his left hook. Then, make it a war of numbers with numerous takedowns, cage walks, clinch time, and calf kicks to blunt power. Also, don't bait the counter left hook and use short bursts with long stretches. Then, reset. It sounds perfect, but it takes a lot of training to iron it out. Khamzat Chimaev. While Pereira fights like a target sniper, Khamzat Chimaev fights like a flash flood that is violent, unstoppable, and impossible to breathe through. But floods, no matter how wild, still follow physics. And Chimaev's chaos has a pattern. Did you know Khamzat once missed weight by nearly 8 pounds and still terrified everyone in the room? It sounds unprofessional, but it says everything about his game of pure aggression and minimal breaks. As the current middleweight champion, he charges like a wolf chasing a wounded deer. But history shows that when you make a predator overcommit, he trips over his own hunger. Take Gilbert Burns at UFC 273. Although Burns didn't stop Chimaev, he exposed the formula to beat and get him close. Firstly, survive the sprint, force the reset, and counter when. Chimaev's mechanics break down. Burns stayed compact, throwing tight hooks inside Chimaev's wild entries, dragging him deep to a point where control and cardio matter more than ferocity. In wrestling terms, think of Chimaev like a chain shot machine. He doesn't set up takedowns, he just bulldozes through hips. So, how do you beat that? You punish level changes. Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman have both shown in previous welterweight bouts that well-timed knees and uppercuts can make wrestlers hesitate, make Chimaev doubt his entries, and suddenly his game sputters. And let's not forget, cardio kills monsters. Burns landed over 100 significant strikes, proving that Chimaev gets weaker when forced to fight smart instead of hard. The trick isn't to match his speed, it's to weaponize patience. Force him into the long game, test his lungs, and you might just be the next middleweight champion. Jack Della Maddalena. Did you know Jack started with a 0-2 loss as a pro? It sounds brutal, but those 2 early losses are the encyclopedia on how to beat him. He has since become a polished pressure boxer and as of UFC 315, he is the current UFC welterweight champion. His first defeat came from the hands of Alden Bates. The highlight of that match is simply patience, and a couple of topple-to-head hunting Bates stopped Jack by TKO in round 3, grinding range and landing heavy, commitment-punishing shots that eventually forced the ref to step in. To beat Jack, he kept his footwork tight, reset off the jab, and punished overreaching counters with counters of his own by accumulating damage. But that's not the easiest way to beat Jack at his game. In Eternal MMA 27 on March 3, 2018, Darcy Vendy faced off with Jack Della, where he took Jack down, scrambled to back control, while locking a rear naked choke for the stoppage. It is clear that Jack can be solved when you stop his rhythm, force scrambles, and dominate positional control. If you want his neck, force level changes, hunt the back, and don't let him posture up. The tactical blueprint is to respect the jab, but make him pay for the lead hand by feinting level changes into single-leg entries. Then, mix sustained pressure with smart resets, but don't trade wild shots in the pocket. Use angles then close for short bursts. Use chain takedowns into back control sequences, because Jack loses when he is on his back. Conditioning that punishes 5-round pace, and since he is explosive early, turn it into a marathon. Ilia Topuria. While Jack Della Maddalena is a technician in the octagon, Ilia Topuria is the lightning-fast featherweight champion with explosive finishing ability. Calm one moment, dangerous the next. But here is the thing. Raw speed and power alone don't win fights. Timing and strategy do. Did you know Topuria was almost handed his first loss before he ever touched gold? It sounds wild, but British striker Jai Herbert nearly shut his lights out at UFC London. Herbert cracked him with a perfect head kick and followed with a barrage that made the crowd gasp. Topuria survived, but that first round showed the secret weak points on how to beat him. Herbert used range, lateral movement, and high kicks to exploit Topuria's habit of keeping his head just off the center line while loading that overhand right. Technically, Topuria has never been defeated in MMA, with a spotless record on paper. But several opponents have found moments that exposed his tendencies. In grappling exchanges, Ryan Hall failed to secure entries, yet his early leg entanglement attempts forced Topuria to hesitate before closing distance fighters who can threaten submissions on the entry, like Charles Oliveira or Arman Sarukian, can make him cautious, taking away the rhythm that fuels his power. So how do you actually beat Ilia Topuria? 3 words: distance, discipline, durability. Don't brawl with him since he lives in chaos. Force him to miss, then make him pay. Use feints to freeze that right hand and make him reset over and over. Circle, jab, and punish the body because it's the long game against a fast starter. You can use techniques like Max Holloway's volume and not Dan Hooker's dogfight. It sounds risky, but that's the trick. Survive the explosion, and the thunder loses its sound. Did you know Volkanovski once fought at welterweight, weighing over 200 pounds before cutting all the way down to featherweight? It's no wonder he is the current featherweight champion, and even though it sounds ridiculous, that frame explains everything, including the fact that he is built like a rugby tank with a sniper's brain. Yet even tanks have weak points, and a handful of men have found them. His first loss came in 2013 against Corey Nelson, and it wasn't some fluke Nelson exploited, the one thing Volkanovski doesn't like: length. He kept Volk on the end of kicks and jabs, forcing him to close distance in straight lines. Eventually, Nelson timed his forward pressure and landed a head kick that stopped the fight. It was violent, but it was easy to understand. Frustrate the shorter man, bait his fast movements, and punish the entry. Years later, Islam Makhachev pulled off a similar trick, but in reverse. Instead of striking range, Islam used grappling range. At UFC 284, Makhachev neutralized Volkanovski with positional dominance, riding him against the fence, chaining takedowns, and stalling his rhythm. Even when Volk defended well, Islam's control killed his tempo. You don't beat Volkanovski by knocking him out. You beat him by slowing him down. Merab Dvalishvili. If cardio were a weapon of mass destruction, Merab Dvalishvili would be on a watch list. As the current bantamweight champion, this man doesn't fight opponents. He erases them through motion. You can't outgrind him, you can't out-hustle him, and you definitely can't make him tired. He is a one-man hurricane that never runs out of wind, but every storm has an eye, and finding it is how you beat him. Merab's game is built on pressure, with endless takedown attempts, suffocating clinches, and constant forward movement. Yet his two biggest losses against Ricky Simon in 2018 and Frankie Saenz before that revealed something most fighters miss. Merab's aggression can turn against him. Simon didn't out-wrestle him, he out-timed him. By waiting for Merab's level changes and catching him in transitions, Simon locked up a guillotine in the dying seconds of round 3 in UFC Fight Night 128. Merab's relentless scrambling kept him moving, but in the chaos, his defense slipped. When his motion without awareness became a vulnerability, Saenz exposed a different crack: composure. He stayed patient, chopped at Merab's base with leg kicks, and countered takedowns instead of retreating. It's the anti-Merab strategy, where you don't run, but you redirect. Fighters like Dvalishvili thrive when opponents panic and give up space. Deny him that rhythm, and the machine stutters. To beat Merab, you need the lungs of a marathoner and the brain of a counter-wrestler. Sprawl late, not early. Force him to restart those endless drives until the chaos eats his gas tank from the inside out. So the next time you see him shooting for his 20th takedown, remember that sometimes the fastest engine burns itself out first. Alexandre Pantoja. Even while Merab can easily be defeated by counter-wrestling, Pantoja requires a lot more than that. As the current flyweight champion, Pantoja is one fighter who overwhelms his opponents with pressure. And just like Merab, he will drown you, just in very different ways. Alexandre Pantoja doesn't fight clean. He fights compulsively. Every exchange, every scramble, every microsecond is an invitation to chaos. He is the guy who will jump guard mid-combination just to drag you down. But 3 fighters have managed to crack the code. Back in 2013, Jussier Formiga exposed his first weakness: positional discipline. Formiga killed the scramble before it began. By staying heavy from top control and riding hips instead of chasing submissions, he nullified Pantoja's jiu-jitsu before it ever got dangerous. Then there is Dustin Ortiz in 2018, who turned efficiency into a weapon. In the fight, Ortiz pressured, disengaged, and picked his shots while forcing Pantoja to constantly reset. He didn't fight him in chaos, so all his attacks were based on angles and balance. But it was Askar Askarov who nearly broke the code completely. In 2019, He refused to engage emotionally because Pantoja thrived on opponents, reacting by flinching, scrambling, overextending. Askarov didn't. He fought with a poker face and a wrestler's patience, controlling the clock and rhythm until Pantoja's urgency became self-sabotage. It was like watching a chess player refuse to move fast against a brawler who hates silence. To beat Pantoja, you don't outfight him, you outlast his mania. Stay calm, deny the scramble, and make him play your tempo. Because once the chaos dies down, so does his magic. So the next time you see Pantoja dive for your ankle, remember that composure is the kryptonite to chaos.